We wake up and find that Trump has won once again. A flawed man, an imperfect man, says some quirky things, has done some quirky things and questionable things. A felon, indicted on 34 counts, but God chose him. The David paradox, an imperfect man. Most of you would have thrown Trump under the bus because you're so religiously perfect, when you really are not, by the way, that you think that God doesn't use people that are flawed. He does. People that have a right heart for God are not perfect people. They don't dot every I, cross every T, and close every E. They just, at their core, are committed to God's cause. And God's going to use him, as he always does. Now, what are you going to do? That's Trump's victory. What about yours? Are you the type of person that forgets how human you are and that God can use you, but you won't submit to him? Be willing more than wanting. Willingness does not require a want. It just requires submission and obedience. There are no perfect things in this world, no perfect people. You ought to know that. Look in the mirror. You see, when you forgive, you are giving to you. You have to forgive in order to have been given. It frees you to live when you forgive, both yourself and others, because God forgives you and puts up with you and waits for you to change. You know that thing that you keep falling back into, that sin? Yeah, he forgives you. You get back up and you're reading a Bible after you did that vow thing, after you looked at that vow video, after you drunk that vow bottle, after you smoked that vow cigarette, after you stuck yourself. Listen, you got to get back up. Keep going. Press towards the mark of that high calling, of that high objective. You have forgotten that. No, Trump's not a saint. No, he's not flawless. No, he's not Jesus. He's just willing for Jesus to use him. And let the Lord use you. Be willing for him to use you. In all your inglorious faults and errors, love covers a multitude of faults and sins. God can use a willing man. He's looking for a few willing people. Let him use you. Do his work, regardless of what someone found out about you, what they said about you, what they did to you, where you went, what you read, what you smoked, what you drank, what you snorted. Get up and say, Lord, if you can use me. I'm not perfect. I don't know every scripture. I don't always say the right words. I don't always do the right things. I don't always treat people the best. I don't always hear your voice the way I should. I'm imperfect, but I perfectly love you. I want you to use me. Will you use me? My leg is broken. My arm is broken. I'm half blind in one eye and half deaf in another ear. I've got missing teeth and my hair isn't so nice. I limp when I walk. I stutter when I speak. But can you use me? Would you use me? This is what I got. It's not all I got, but it's what I got. Will you give that to me? Oh, Lord, you could use that? Oh, I can. I can take trash and turn it into treasure. I can take confusion and turn it to order. I can take a mess and find what's in it to use and discard the rest. I can take limited knowledge without you having all knowledge. I can take your weakness. I can make it my strength, manifested in it. Yes, I can. Are you willing? Yes. As long as you know you can't beat your chest about yourself because you know what a mess you are. Yes, Lord, I do. You have to beat your chest about me, not yourself. Don't be full of vainglory because you think you're perfect. And don't beat yourself in the ground because you think you're no good. I'm the one that puts value on you when others will discard you. Yes, I know. I know you inside out. Every atom and every molecule, every strand of DNA. I knew you before you were a thought. I'll know you after. I just need you to be willing to be used by me. I'll take care of the rest. And when others reject you, I'll accept you. When they misunderstand you, don't worry, I know you. When they don't want to hear you, my ear is always open. And I'll speak to you. Let me use you. Submit to me. Be willing. And don't worry about the other part. See, I accepted you just as you are because I'm not going to leave you that way. Some things I'm going to change this week. Some things I'm going to change next month. Some things I'm going to change down the road a few years. Some things won't be changed until you're resurrected out of this body and completely washed and freed. Till then, stay on the path. If you got to crawl, if you got to hop on crutches in a wheelchair, if you got to stumble, if you've got to roll, but stay on the path. I'm not looking for the strongest or the fittest, not looking for the best. I'm looking for the willing. That's why I'm using Trump, and that's why I want to use you. Remember that. Go do God's work.